Hello and welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine. I'm going to try another reading that I have not done before. I want to do a reading on the new moon, which is actually at its peak, I believe, like right now. So I'm pulling this reading on August 4th, but it is a timeless general collective reading, which means that whenever it shows up on your timeline, you are meant to find it. And I'm apparently having difficulty shuffling today. This is a general reading, so as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'm using my Little Prince Tarot today. I don't know, hopefully you guys have read The Little Prince. It's like one of my favorite books on the whole planet, but he lives on a tiny little planet by himself in outer space with his rose and his sheep, and I just felt called to do that since we're talking about the moon today. So what does this collective need to know about the new moon energy today? Our first card is the Queen of Swords. Awesome. Yeah, we got this card in a reading that I did yesterday too. So the Queen of Swords for me is a card of clarity. She's a card of knowledge. I've been feeling a lot that sort of feeling of clarity from the sword, like this sword of truth, sort of slicing through anything that's no longer serving us. So we have Four of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and Strength. That's funny that Strength came out again. Okay. I love these cards so much. Okay, so the Four of Cups here is a card of like missed opportunities in the traditional tarot. So it can be like a card of apathy. Here I'm noticing the prince is like pouring from his cups. So this is sort of like his emotional well, basically pouring from his emotional well to keep his precious rose alive. So I'm not sure how much to get into the story, so I don't want to give you guys spoilers if you haven't read it. I guess spoiler alert, I'll probably be talking about it a little bit, but this rose is like his love. It's like the thing that he loves the most, is very precious to him. So I'm wondering if there's anywhere that you're maybe overextending yourself, or kind of like taking from your emotional well in a way that sort of is like depleting you. And it's really special, right? You're doing it to sustain something that's very precious to you. But I think the message would just be to make sure that you are also filling up your well here during this new moon. And quick note too, I feel like I should share this. The energy of new moons, for me, the way that I practice, is very much an energy of planting seeds. So the full moon is basically when the seeds come to fruition, and then it's a time of releasing between the full moon and the new moon. And then the new moon is really supportive of like new manifestations, setting new intentions, setting goals, planting new seeds. And then as it grows towards the next full moon, it's a kind of a time of like growth. So right now we're in that time where it's like the perfect time to be planting new seeds. So if there's any kind of intentions that you could set around, like, I want to exercise, or I want to do this or that to fill my well. I want to eat healthy food, or I want to read for an hour a day, or whatever it is. This is like a really good time if you want to be setting new goals. I actually feel like energetically, these are kind of two separate rows. So the Eight of Cups here is a card of walking away from things that are not serving you anymore, right? So this is the prince here, kind of walking away from whoever this figure is, what he's representing. He's got like a box of items that he's offering to him, I guess. It looks like the prince is kind of going to fill up his cup at a literal well. That's funny. I wasn't even looking at that when I was talking about that energy. So I feel like this is walking away from like things that are maybe draining you or no longer serving you, and making sure that you are filling up your well. So it's definitely feeling like a message here for this new moon in this collective. So the next cards are the Ace of Wands and the Strength card. I just love the symbolism in these cards here. So the snake is kind of like a wise trickster in the story a bit. He kind of helps the prince disassemble ego. I feel like that's kind of what he's used for in the story. So the Ace of Wands in the traditional tarot is like, I'm distracted by the autumn leaves. Sorry, I'm channeling a lot right now. The Ace of Wands in the traditional tarot is a card of like passionate new beginnings. It's a card of kind of getting like fired up by an idea and getting started with it. So it's like a green light from the universe. It's getting started with something. I'm drawn to these leaves. I did a reading the other day that had autumn leaves in it, and the energy that I was picking up on is similar to here. And it's also similar to the message that I was getting up here, where this is a time in your life where you're really like refining and getting clear with this swords energy, again, with that clarity. You're getting clear on what is for you, what is worth your time and energy, and what is like maybe old pieces of you or things that are no longer serving your highest good. So being able to release those things, because of this being the little prince, I associate the snake also with like that death and transformation energy, which is another one of his roles in the story. So I'm really feeling this energy of like letting what's no longer serving you go. Just like the leaves fall off the trees in autumn, right? They've kind of served their purpose for the season. They just kind of peacefully, quietly fall away over time. The trees don't have to actively like do anything, right, to get rid of them. They just sort of peacefully fall away as they're no longer in alignment with what the tree needs, right, and what's going on with the tree. So really allowing those things to pass out of your life so that you can have this new beginning, this sort of passionate new start, putting your energy and your efforts and your emotions, right, your emotional energy towards the new things that are serving you and that are helping you to like move forward in alignment with your highest good and with your highest self. And then the Strength card, which keeps coming up with the Lionsgate portal reading. So I don't know, I feel like I probably keep calling it in because I'm so delighted by it. The Strength card represents sort of taming your inner self, your wildness, your inner beast, your impulses, maybe even the things that are not in alignment with your highest good, but are maybe old patterns that you kind of go back to. And being able to tame those with like gentleness and compassion and maybe some compassionate, gentle self-control. Being able to take some of the emotional charge or like reactivity out of your actions or even the way that you kind of speak to yourself, like your internal self-chatter, right? Your kind of reactiveness within your brain. Being able to detach some of that reactivity from that and being able to approach yourself in like a really loving and gentle way. And like how sweet that energy is. Like in the book, the prince tames this fox with love. That's the whole message of his relationship with this fox, is just building a relationship, learning how to trust each other, learning how to unconditionally love each other, how each one shows up. So that's really beautiful. So I'm very much feeling this. Again, this message of clarity with the swords just keeps coming up and up and up. Oh, that's so cute. It even has the fox sleeping on the back of her throne. I'm drawn to the crown here. I wonder if that might be significant to anyone in terms of like your crown chakra or crown chakra healing. Just really making sure that you're keeping that channel open between yourself and whatever higher powers you might believe in. If you don't believe in a higher power, then this part might not resonate. But if you do, whether it's your guides, ancestors, gods, multiple gods and goddesses, your higher self, whatever resonates for you, like keeping that the crown chakra. And since I just fumbled that, your heart chakra also, keeping those chakras open to receiving like love and goodness and support from your higher powers and your guides in the universe. And again, with those cups around this moon, really focusing on setting intentions of where you can be filling your own well so that you are not like taking from your inner resources in order to move through your life. So my spiritual teachers talk about this, that when you're keeping that channel open with God, you're channeling God's energy through you to do your job, especially if your job is like in alignment with your life purpose, like what you're here on the earth to do. So you're not having to take from your own personal inner well, and that can always stay nice and full. And then again, letting those pieces that are no longer in alignment with you just die off so that you can make room for like what you're creating next that's more in alignment with your highest self. I'm feeling called to still use this deck because I love it. So let's see what advice, I know that was already a lot of advice. Let's see what more advice the universe has for us. So what do you want this collective to know for this new moon energy? I feel like that was a fumble. The Seven of Wands, these guys were legit. Seven of Wands and Death. Yeah, so just to read though, I'm not going to take those because that was a big fumble, like a bunch of cards came out. But the Seven Wands and Death, those were the ones that stuck out to me. Feels like the death of defensiveness. So I don't know if this will resonate, but what I'm getting is that it's a lesson that I continue to work through, is like, I think sometimes we have a defensiveness up with the universe, almost like walls, right? That are kind of put there because of feelings of like unworthiness or maybe even not trusting. So kind of defensiveness and protecting ourselves almost against the universe, which seems on a logical level, it seems illogical because the universe wants to bring us good things, right? But I think sometimes we have that up and say, well, last time I trusted you, universe, like a bad thing happened, or maybe feeling unworthy, right? Like I can't trust you because I don't even feel worthy of receiving gifts. But the Death card being next to that is saying like end that defensiveness, that that could be an energy that's supported with this new moon, is putting an end to that defensiveness and really softening and like letting the universe come in. So the advice cards that we have here are the Queen of Wands and Three of Cups. I love that. So the Queen of Wands is reminding me of the Ace of Wands in terms of like that fiery energy and letting that energy in. She's like a very self-sufficient woman. I love in this one, the spyglass or whatever that she has. I don't know what to call it. She's not a pirate, but it looks like that to me, like a little telescope, I guess, where she's really forward looking. She's looking towards the future. And I feel like that's a similar energy to this Ace of Wands, where it's about leaving the past behind and being able to move forward and look forward and plan for what that looks like for you. And then the Three of Cups, that's so sweet. I love that. And even like the little foxes here hanging out with them. So the Three of Cups is about like teamwork basically and collaborating, having like a partnership where you're working together to achieve a goal. So these guys look, they're in the story, they're in the desert, right? And there's this well and they've obviously gotten water from the well and they're totally psyched that they achieve that together. I feel like that's an energy of like, you teaming with the universe and also you teaming with yourself. Like, what's coming to me is like working with yourself instead of against yourself. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, I feel like sometimes I'm my own worst critic. And sometimes there's like some self-sabotaging that happens. And a lot of those types of thoughts and behaviors are so ingrained and they can be so subtle that it's something that we don't even notice. But it's important to start noticing it because this energy is so much more fun and so much more productive than kind of having that internal self-sabotage. So that again would be that message of, this is reminding me so much of a reading that I did the other day. I called them snake thoughts because there was a snake in the card that was kind of representing ego. which is funny that we have him here in the Ace of Wands too. So those snaky ego thoughts that are saying you're not worthy, you're not good enough, it's all your fault, all that kind of stuff. The thing is, it feels real and it can feel really compelling, but none of those thoughts are actually true. The way that I see things is that we're all divine beings just having a human experience. We all make mistakes. We all make choices that we regret. We all have things that we wish we could do differently. But none of those things make us unworthy of receiving good things. So looking to the future and being able to partner in joy with yourself and with the universe, and sort of enjoy the benefits of that partnership. Like look at them toasting on the card. They're so happy and they're just celebrating their victory together. Like that's what the universe wants to do with you, is celebrate victories with you. What other advice do you have for my viewers for this new moon? Nice. We're getting a lot of court cards. We have the King of Pentacles, and he's with the sheep. That's so sweet. In his big castle with his pentacle. I love it. So the King of Pentacles is a really stable energy. I like how he's like relaxed here. He's just totally relaxing in his prosperity. And he's got like some little blossoms here in his hand. I love that. And just the castle behind him and like everything that he's manifested, right? All of his good. And now he can kind of just sit back and relax. I feel like the energy of that card is allowing yourself to bask in the gifts. I've done a couple of readings about the Lionsgate portal, which is, the energy is very much here, but the portal is technically on the 8th. And a lot of the messages that I'm getting are about receiving good from the universe. So this guy is like a master receiver. Like he's done the work. Pentacles are very hardworking. He's taken the practical steps. He's a guy who does his spiritual work. He does his physical work here on the earth. But he also gets to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. And I feel like that's a message here for you. Any other advice for my viewers? What you got for us? The 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, so this card is around hard work. So you can see that the prince is on his planet and he's planting his precious rose. Really tending to the things that are important to you and precious to you. I'm getting a message too from this card in terms of advice around like prioritizing. So what's coming to me specifically, if you guys are wanting to work with the energies of the new moon, maybe choosing like 1 or 2 goals that feel really important to you, rather than saying like, oh my goodness, I want to change all this stuff with the new moon. It almost feels like running around like a chicken with your head cut off to try to do too much. So this would be about prioritizing where you're putting your efforts, and then mastering like one thing is an energy of the 8 of Pentacles, right? So he's doing one thing right now. He is planting his precious rose and creating a home for her and taking good care of her. And that's where like all of his efforts and energy is going, because she's precious to him and she's important to him. So maybe pick like, I don't know, do you have a goal? Maybe think about like if you have a goal that you would like to achieve right now. So maybe it's to exercise more, to meditate or read more, get organized about something, clean the house. Maybe it's to do some self-care stuff, like get a massage or get a haircut or something, right? And pick like 1 or 2 things so that you can really focus and devote your time and energy and kind of give them the space that they deserve and that they need in your life. That feels really clear. So getting clear, right? Getting clear on what are your goals and priorities, being able to really sit back and receive from the universe, partnering with both yourself and the universe, and kind of having that forward view where you're leaving the past behind you, the things that are no longer serving you. very much I keep getting the message and the energy that it's time to let all of that go and to really move forward. And that resonates too with moving forward, like, and kind of choosing your priorities. What are the things that you're prioritizing to bring forward into the future with you versus what are things that are just not worth your time and energy anymore? That feels really complete. Hopefully I was clear with that. We have some Moonology cards because we're reading on the moon. So what do my viewers need to know for this new moon energy today? What messages do you have for them? A personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. Nice. I like that. It feels, I feel that in the energy, and that's a lot around that clarity, like kind of coming to a resolution within yourself around what is worth your time and energy at this point, and like what are your goals, what are your priorities. So maybe that you're able to kind of tie up some things that are just no longer serving you, and maybe that will help you with some ease in terms of letting them go. What other advice do you have for my viewers for this new moon energy? Might not have any more. That's it. Wrapping stuff up. I love it. It's interesting. If you have not watched my videos on the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, you might want to, because I feel like I'm getting a lot of messages of the universe really, really wanting to work with you to help you with some of this moving on energy. And I talk about that in more detail in those. So pull up a crystal, angels, and then we'll wrap it up here. Speaking of wrapping things up, what do you want my viewers to know for this new moon energy? Okay, we have 3. We have Sodalite. Socialize or join in. Make healthy and supportive new friendships and connections by getting involved with a group of like-minded people. So maybe for some of you, and take this if it resonates, do what resonates for you. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. The message from this card that I'm getting in relation to this energy might be that there are some old friendships or relationships in your life that maybe are on their way out or are no longer serving you. And maybe something that you could call in for this new moon is like a new friendship group. And honestly, like you can make as much ceremony around this or as little as resonates for you. Like for me, sometimes I just go outside at night and look up at the sky and set my intention. And for this one, I might say like, all right, God, for, with the energy of this new moon, I choose to release any relationships that are no longer serving my highest good, best interest, and greatest joy. And I choose to call in divine relationships that are aligned with my highest self and my true self and will support me in my growing and my learning and my ascension. And that's it. It can be as simple as that. Sometimes people light candles. Sometimes I do like a little ritual. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Maybe calling in some new friendships that are more in alignment with the direction that you're going rather than who you've been in the past. The next one says calcite, busy times and multitasking. Take charge of your schedule during this busy time and honestly assess your underlying reasons for being busy. I feel like what that's getting to is that clarity I was talking about in terms of your priorities. So really understanding what are your goals and priorities moving forward, where are you putting your time, energy, and attention, and making sure that you're getting really clear on those things so that you're kind of using your time, energy, and attention in the best way for the things that are the highest priority for you. And the last one is azurite, deep emotional healing. Your heart is ready to heal from past experiences, and you are willing to devote time and energy toward therapeutic care. I feel like that's referencing what I was saying too about self-care. So like getting a massage, getting a haircut, it might just be prioritizing some time for emotional healing. So I know for me with my spiritual work, I devote at least 10 minutes a day to doing my inner work and feeling my feelings and working through things. Usually it ends up being a lot more than 10 minutes because I just sort of do my inner work a lot. But I give myself at least that. I commit to at least that. So even on a rough day, I'll put aside 10 or 15 minutes just to really sit and like quietly be with myself. And it seems like not that much, right? Just 10 or 15 minutes. That's not a big deal. But over time, I've been doing my inner work really consciously for a little over 2 years now. And over time, that all adds up, right? 10 or 15 minutes a day for 2 years. I've seen huge growth and huge changes in me in terms of my forward movement. So if you feel like that resonates for you and you're ready to dive in, that could be, again, like getting clear on your priorities. Maybe that's something that you start to prioritize too, and you kind of build that into your schedule to have some just quiet inner time with yourself, to be with yourself. That feels really complete. So again, our messages are about kind of making sure that your well is full, getting really clear on what those priorities are, partnering with the universe and allowing spirit to really help you, and receiving that help, right? Being open to receiving it, and making sure that you are giving your time, energy, and efforts towards the things that are like the highest priority for you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like, share, subscribe, leave comments, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel. Lots of love to you guys, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye.